Hello, my name is Karina Velazquez-Ortega, and this is my final semester product and my reflection on play. At the beginning of the semester in this class, my idea of play consisted of viewing play as more of a recreational activity or for more of entertaining purposes. I also thought it helped develop sensory and cognitive skills. Um, I thought that it didn't have to follow a structure and it was not exclusive to young children, meaning that adults could also take part of play. To me, play also deals a lot with curiosity and trying to make sense of the world around us. For example, in this video that I chose for our Padlet introduction at the beginning of the class, um, you can see a puppy that got curious about a doorstopper, and so this prompted it to start playing with it and discover that it made a sound and that it moved. And so this really reflects how curiosity leads to uh, playing and how playing can help explore and learn how things work and their purpose in the environment. Reading the article, Let Kids Play by Perry Class, I found this quote that states, "It's not about fancy toys, it's about common household items that kids can discover and explore." So this ties to my original view of play um, because it involves play as a way to discover and explore the world around us. And I found this quote very interesting because a lot of people often think of play and begin to imagine a variety of toys that children can use. However, I've learned that kids don't always need those complex or expensive toys. In fact, household items such as pots and pans or cardboard boxes, wooden blocks, can allow children to explore just as much as a toy would. In fact, during the on site visits to the YWCA Really Learning Centers, I was able to observe how all the classroom had a variety of sensory bottles. And so, this kind of toy is a very simple toy of a plastic water bottle that was filled with common everyday objects that students can encounter. Some were filled with sand, paper clips, rocks, and it was interesting to see how these toys really caught the students' attention and how they enjoyed observing the movements inside the bottles and exploring how different interactions would affect the objects inside. So, for example, maybe if they shake the bottle faster or slower, what happens to those materials inside? Uh, and so, again, this tied together with my original view that play does involve curiosity and the discovering and exploring of the world around us. In addition, we saw that play, by definition, is self controlled and self directed by Peter Gray. And so I was able to view this um, by learning how play can help children learn to respond to social signals and practice the use of more mature language and logic. So these were involved in a lot of associative and cooperative play, where when it was self-controlled and self-directed by the child was able to practice, for example, communication skills, where they were able to express their ideas, their feelings, their emotions, and even implement their communication skills by the act of structuring their own play and assigning roles and um, giving out instructions and just structuring how the play would take place. I also saw it during imaginative or role playing play that allows children to explore and express themselves, and this is usually done by letting the kids use their imagination and their creativity to create their own scenarios, um, even letting them create their own props and see how they make up their own scenarios that reflect maybe previous experiences or ideas that they have from their background knowledge. I also saw how, even through guided play, teachers can use guided play, right? They build onto the students' knowledge, um, and also allow opportunities for it to be in a fun context, and build a bridge to um, switch from guided play to self-directed play, which uh, would allow the students to learn through play while still having that support from the teacher if needed. So, inside my future classroom, I would like to have a well planned environment that allows for multiple opportunities for spontaneous play. And so I tied this together to a quote from the book Play at Center of the Curriculum, which states teachers can create bridges from teacher planned activities to spontaneous play, which we saw before, right? That even though there is a part of play that can be guided, teachers can also build on that bridge to allow students to have that free play and have that play uh, that's self-controlled, child-controlled. The way I also see this in my classroom is through taking the child's view of the materials in the classroom, and try to understand the development of children. So, for example, in the article, How Play Energizes Your Kid's Brain by Cassandra Williard, um, you can learn about Piaget's observation of children development, which states that as babies become toddlers, their play gets more complex, which um, indicates how important it is to know and understand the development of children, to have an environment where children can learn and use play as a learning strategy. Um, so, for example, while babies usually involved making objects move through space, uh, maybe as toddlers, it changes to a more make believe type of play, where maybe a pencil, it's not just simply a pencil, but rather an airplane. And so they start using their imagination. And I would like to foster that environment in my classroom. Another quote that I saw and will definitely help me shape my future classroom is that teachers show that all children are welcome by including known familiar objects, particularly things children see at home. So, what this meant to me was that it is important to create scenarios and play activities where students can bring out their own cultural knowledge and develop their skills using their own resources um, through purposeful activities. So, for example, maybe while playing Play-Doh, students can, bake family recipes and share uh, their their background knowledge with others. And because play is a human phenomenon and it occurs across culture, it would help keep a diversity environment, and it would create social enrichment in the classroom as well. So, overall, my idea of play has definitely evolved throughout the different experiences I've had in this class, including the readings from the videos and on site visits and observations. So I can say now that my understanding of play is that it is part of all areas of social, emotional, and intellectual growth, that it includes spontaneous play, guided play, and teacher directed play. Um, and more specifically, from these, I learned that Although they are categories, they shouldn't be considered as separate or isolated type of play, but rather there should be a balance between the three, depending on the children's development and learning needs. And I also learned that play can also challenge children to use their developing academic skills in a comfortable environment. And so overall, that's what I learned as the work of children, um, which we often saw as not important, or we didn't really see how play could have a learning impact on children. But now I can see how I can implement it inside my classroom as a learning strategy to make learning fun and more purposeful for students. Thank you for listening to me. Uh, I can see how my vision of play definitely changed, and I feel ready to implement these strategies inside my classroom. Thank you.